What's going on, everybody? It's Elliot Scott from ElliotScottDating.com, and today we're going to go over the reasons or the ways, not reasons, the ways you can figure out if a guy likes you. Now, the thing I wanted to focus on in this video or the two things I wanted to focus on were only scientific things, okay? Things that are proven time and time, the classics, right? These are things I learned myself. I learned from reading and studying this stuff for years, from being the dating coach, from articles, like actual academic articles, like psychological articles, not or psychology articles, human behavior articles, stuff like that, dynamics, not Cosmo, or I'm not gonna throw any names out there, but you know what I mean, some actual evidence behind it, studies. And the second thing I wanted to do is show you the levels of escalation a guy will go through, okay, to get you. Not just throw random shit at you, but to show you levels from the point of him. Let's say you don't know him, or that you guys don't know each other well, or that you don't know he likes you, to what, to the final thing, okay? And the first thing obviously would be proximity. You want to close the distance on these kind of things, these interactions. And the reason for that is when you close the distance, again, you got to look at it from an evolutionary aspect or evolutionary kind of perspective. When you close the distance on things, it's always a positive thing, right? If you're trying to capture food, closing the distance is a good thing. You're going to get the food. If you're trying to mate, closing the distance is a good thing. You're going to mate. Well, it doesn't really mean you're going to mate, but you know what I mean. You can't do it from across the fucking map. So closing the distance is a good thing. It also builds association, right? If I'm close to you all the time, like you hear people talk about all the time in high school or office romances, like, oh, they're talking a lot more, or Elliot's starting to go over and talk to her a lot more than he was talking to Jenny over there. Like, what's going on? Stuff like that. Like, association is a strong thing, and it does subconsciously build attraction, right? That's why people always say, like, from a scientific, I guess it's actually factual, that when you find out someone likes you, you tend to like them more, and and that's because of more of an association or an acceptance thing. When you're always around someone, you're close into proximity or distance. It's more, again, they feel more accepting. You feel more accepted. And the fact that you're closing that distance, they might figure out, hey, he's talking to me a lot, I like him, and vice versa. So the first thing the guy's going to do is try to close the distance, because at a distance, he can't get anything done. So the second thing, after you close the distance, obviously, logically, the second thing he would want to do is build intel. He wants to figure out more about you. And that doesn't just mean, are you single? Are you taken? Are you looking for a boyfriend even? Or stuff like that. He just wants to see that status. But he also wants to see the red flags, or is she the type for me? Is she, she's hot from a distance, but does she have what I want, right? So he's going to try to figure that out, and he wants to know where he stands. Men are always seeking validation, which I'll get onto later. But men are always going to want to seek validation. Men are always going to try to do this or that, or when but for the most part, he wants to find intel. He wants to know where you stand. Do you have the baggage? Do you have the red flags? And he's going to ask those kind of questions in a very nonchalant way, or I do. That's how I do it. I ask in a very nonchalant, funny kind of way. I'd kind of nudge her and be like, well, your boyfriend wouldn't like that, And she might, and that's aggressive. Like, she knows I'm saying that, knowing, or hoping that she would say, well, I don't have a boyfriend. That's just the way I flirt. That's, that kind of stuff. But the third thing would be, let's say you like that. Okay, let's say he comes to you and he loves the energy you're giving off. You're attractive. You don't have a lot of baggage. You're pretty cool. You can handle your own. The next thing he would do is try to provide the masculine role. And I don't mean that in a very dominating way. I mean, again, more of an evolutionary or I guess energy type of way. Feminine and masculine energy go together. I don't care what anyone says. The way I explain it is this: if you were to dance, if you were both feminine energies, you wouldn't go anywhere. You wouldn't know who would lead or where to go or where to glide or guide, right? If you're both masculine, you're both very tense. You're both very, you're fighting for, you ain't going nowhere. It's a lot of jittering, well, you didn't see my other hand. This is me dancing, right? A lot of jittering, a lot of pushing, shoving, stuff like that. It's going to look sloppy and choppy. However, if you have masculine and feminine energy, you flow, you complement each other, and you guys just flow and look grace, and just dance gracefully. And that's how I want you to look at it. So when a man looks at you and you have that feminine energy, and you show him, when he's closing the distance, that you are worthy and that you are awesome and dating potential, he is going to provide the masculine role subconsciously, because that's just how we did it or from an evolutionary standpoint. It's really about the security of family and life. The whole job of every organism is to survive and replicate. So that's what he's going to try to show you. He's going to try to show you subconsciously, hey, you can survive and replicate with me. He's not going to ask you just to have sex, but that's why organisms get together and they build, again, groups, communities, tribes, for not only the protection but the security. Okay, so after he does that, the next thing he's going to do is try to build courtships. And I would say this is the most important, because this shows where a guy actually stands. Men really tie their ego and their self-worth into how well or into how other women see him. Okay, so if other women are very attracted to him and other women are very interested in what he has to give, into his looks, maybe his status, maybe his social proof, whatever it is, right? He's going to feel really good about himself. He's going to feel very confident and very just fulfilled. But when women say, nah, I ain't about that life, I don't want you, I don't want anything about you, he's going to feel like shit. So he's going to try to seek some type of validation, and he's going to do that through the courtship. Now, when he's doing this courtship, it's not going to be so much like on a date, as much as it's going to be just trying to fill your value, like too much Diet Coke. He's going to try to fill up I guess your needs, your wants. Okay, so he's going to try to make you laugh, because you obviously want a guy who's fun to be around. So guys try to make you laugh. He's going to try to take care of himself and show that he's worthy, because obviously you don't want a fucking deadbeat. Stuff like that. And that's what I mean by courtship. It's not so much the date, even though that's part of it, and that's what we see it as. It's more of the little things, like what do you need in a man, because I'm going to show you. That's what I mean. And a lot of it starts off with laughter and, I guess, chemistry, rapport, and communication. Now, after all that, okay, after he closes that distance, you guys show each other that you're worthy. He shows you the masculine role. He shows you validation. You're digging it. The next and final thing is the touch, okay? We call it Kino, or Kino escalation. He's going to break the touch barrier, because he wants to seek validation, just like I said in the previous step. He wants to close the deal. He wants to seal the deal and see where he stands. And obviously, when you're like this close to someone and you're talking and touching like that or that you're interested in, you're not going to freak out as much as if I were a stranger and I'm just doing that. You'd be like, what the fuck's going on, okay? So he's going to try to break the barrier by touch. Now, when he does that, it depends on how he touches you. I don't mean that I don't mean that in a sexual way. But, when he puts his hand on your lower back, he's interested and he wants to see how you react. If you pull away, obviously you're creating distance. So you're obviously not on the same page yet. He's trying to close it. You're trying to extend it if you are not interested in him. But he's going to try to close that distance, and he's going to touch you to break those barriers. And how you react depends on if he's going to move forward. Again, like when women hold on to a man's arm, men love that, okay? Women hit a guy, men love that. And because it's all breaking barriers. Like if I don't like you or know you and you hit me, I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Even if it's kind of joking, you're kind of like, and I don't know you, I'm like, what are you doing? But if you're flirtatious and you do it, then I know that we're breaking barriers. So that's the final thing. And then from there, it's going to be the whole thing, whatever you guys do. If you guys want to go on a date, someone needs to, again, proceed and ask who, what, where, when, whatever. Not who, because you obviously know who. But you get what I'm saying. So with that being said, ladies, there you go. There's the 5 steps. Whatever you do after the touch is all you. I would say kiss is part of touch. Because if you pull away after that, you're obviously not interested or something. Something's wrong. You're on different pages. But there you go. 5 steps. After that, it's all on you, girl. Leave a comment below. Check my like this. Check my my Twitter out, Elliot Scott Date. Check my free ebook below. 254 pages on how to attract any guy, and how, the male mind, all the good stuff. I love you guys. Take care. Peace.